Good evening, Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to discuss the fourth term. Will the mayor go for a fourth term? A lot of people are saying yes. Let's talk about it. Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics. Tonight is Monday, May 2nd, and I want to discuss the fourth term, the possibility of Mayor Spano running for a fourth term. Let's discuss. Good evening, folks. How you doing? I also going to be sharing some videos as well. Show the mayor. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. How you doing tonight? I'm doing lovely. Thank you for joining me. If you're joining me, for those catching at a later time, thank you for watching anyway and supporting. I appreciate it. I definitely do appreciate the support. I do want to start off real quick before I get into the mayor with the great news on the Bernice Breckman Center. They got it done. It's going to be open. It looks very nice. And I want to just show some pictures there from earlier today that was sent to them. And I also saw them on Facebook. This is how it looks on the inside now. I wish I had some before pictures, which I do. I just don't want to go through them. Pretty cool. The seniors I hear are very excited over there. Looks nice and bright and clean. So I want to say thank you to the city of Yonkers for hooking that up. Thank you to the seniors who spoke up about it, and thank you to Carolyn. I appreciate it. And let's not forget, tomorrow the rally is still on. May 3rd, the rally is tomorrow. And some people are saying, well, not some people, but I hear people, in the city are saying, well, the center's open now. Why still have the rally? But you must still have the rally because we want to drive the point home. We must unite, come together, and speak out. And I'm glad that we are speaking out more and more, and things are happening. And again, when I spoke with some people earlier about it. It's not looking to get into a fight, right? No one's looking to get into some kind of beef with the city. You just want to see things done like this, especially for the seniors. However, the rally is concerning police. They are reaching out, wondering what the rally is about, what they're going to be doing. Don't worry, the seniors are not going to get too out of hand. They're not going to be rioting. They're not going to be breaking any windows. They just want to come out, show support, just speak a little bit about what the center means to them and why it's important to have it open, and why, this must never happen again. Okay, 2 years or longer, 2 years, dragging their feet while other things are getting done and quick, fast. It's not okay. But I'm glad it's happening. So shout out to the crews that were out there over the weekend. I hear Council Member Rubo, trying to get people not to go to the rally. Come on, Rubo. Chill out, man. Sit back, fall back. You're still mad about the dog park. And also, someone made a nasty comment about seniors in regards to the dog park. Come on, was that really called for? You can go check that out. I'm talking badly about the seniors. But so I'm excited about that. So thank you for that happening. That's great news. That really is great news. So let's get into it. Let's talk about. Actually, really quick, I do want to mention before I talk about the mayor in the fourth term. That's a big thing. Everyone's talking about that. Now that we got the Bernice Breckman Center open, some people are making comments about other centers. Yeah, we love to see other centers open, especially for young people, the youth. Their community centers, like the Abraham Community Centers and others. But we like to see more. We like to see them, or the ones that are existing, kind of be spruced up a bit, and let's get some things actually going on in them, and promoting activities and all that. Hopefully the one on Elm Street will open up, and there'll be others. There's a need for programs and other resources and opportunities. And I would like to speak to people from the community about that. So if you feel strongly that there's a need for more youth centers, community programs, resources, and that there's not enough, they're not doing enough, and you want to speak about it, reach me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on and have a discussion about that. Again, politicwithfred@gmail.com. Right? It's very important that we have the community centers. And so did you also see, is it Coin Park? It's right next to this Bernice Beckman Center. They hooked it up. There's a lot of stuff that actually happens at that park. I'm just realizing. I was kind of looking it up. And so it's great. And then I started to think about the JFK Marina and Trevor Park. And I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if they can do the similar activities, events, bands playing, and all that cool stuff that they do there over at the JFK Marina and Trevor Park, for that community there, instead of giving it away to developers. That's what I like to see happen next. I like to hear our elected officials, city council say Trevor Park, the JFK Marina is going to be strictly public parkland. We're going to spruce it up for the public only. That's it. And they can put a dope community center there, right? Maybe rehab that power plant, make it a community center. Why not? I think that'd be a dope idea. But anyway, I want to get into the mayor. Let's talk about the mayor. Everybody's wondering, is the mayor running for a fourth term? What do you think? I think so. I think he's going for a fourth term. Some are speculating that the mayor has his eye on a term number 4. But how did he even get to this point? How did we get to term 3, right? Sources close to the mayor said that the mayor, because I've asked, the mayor is not interested in running for a fourth term. He's done. He's had enough. He's over it. He's ready to move on. However, that's not true because he said that before. And with the Yonkers Voice in an interview, the mayor said he had no intentions, no interest in running for a third term, and we found that obviously is not the case, right? So he ran, for a third term, obviously after the council members passed the legislation. I'll get into that a bit. But so if you hear the mayor saying, or anyone close to the mayor saying, I'm not interested in running for a fourth term, I'm not going to do that. That's not my thing. I'm done. It's over. Don't believe it. That's exactly what he said last time. I'm trying to find it. So I would have played this video of the mayor talking about it. Is Mayor Spano running for a third term? This is from the Yonkers Voice here. And I just want to play that really quick.
For the third term. Can you tell us anything about it? Yeah, I certainly can do that. Listen, I love serving the people of Yonkers as mayor. The law allows me to run for 2 terms. I'm not looking to overturn that law. I'm not looking to run for a third term. And even if, I guess they were to overturn that, I wouldn't run for a third term. This has been an honor for me to be mayor. And I have still a long ways to go with my...
So he says there, he has no intentions and no interest in running for a third term. And even if they overturn, right, and they create legislation to add the third term, that he would not run. Well, the mayor obviously didn't keep his word there, right? So he actually ran. And like I said in the interview, he stated that. Well, who was it that introduced the legislation? It was Majority Leader at the time, back in 2018, Michael Sabatino, and Minority Leader at the time, who is the current Minority Leader, Mike Breen. In 2018, the talk began about extending term limits in Yonkers from 2 4-year terms to 3 4-year terms, making it 12 years, total 12 years. In the beginning, when rumors began spreading about a third term, there was both support for and against it by both Democrats and Republicans. But however, the Majority Leader and Majority Leader Mike Sabatino, as I mentioned, and Minority Leader Mike Breen introduced legislation to extend the term, right? But opposition mainly came from officials or people who were interested in running, right? They wanted to run for mayor, so they knew if they overturned that and they extended term limits and Mike Spano ran again, it would be done. Names like Chuck Lesnick, DPW head Tom Meyer, and he's also the Democratic Party chair, and former councilman named Dennis Robertson. Now, we've hearing the same names again. Chuck Lesnick, I've heard his name again. Of course, Tom Meyer, right? Dennis Robertson is a new one. I didn't hear his name come up recently in the potential, candidates who may be running. Tom Meyer, at the time in 2018, admitted to considering running for mayor. The funny thing is that he also was considering running for Jamal Bowman's seat, as was the mayor. Remember, there was that whole racial thing that the mayor had said, he should have been put in jail for something else because they were talking about him possibly running against Jamal Bowman and Tom Meyer. I mean, these two, Tom Meyer, that you run, possibly run for every seat that the mayor may be running for. It ran for the same seat. Again, Tom Meyer told Dan Murphy of the Yonkers Times back in 2018 that public service ran through his veins. I'm sure it does, Tommy. I'm sure it does. Public service ran through his veins. By the way, Tom Meyer has a Vedat Gashi, is that correct, for Congress poster, on his property. Just throw that out there. Meyer also told the Times back in 2018 that the Democratic Party had a lot of good candidates, from Chuck Lesnick, to Mike Cater, Wilson Kimball, Dennis Robertson, and himself. That's what he said, and myself. Right? So again, the same names: Chuck Lesnick, who, by the way, I've met. The guy likes to talk. I think he likes to hear himself talk. He doesn't want nobody else to talk. You try to talk, he just ignores what you said and just keeps talking all about himself. So that kind of turned me off. After that, I had no interest in even having conversations with him anymore. He just talked the whole time. He said that Tom Meyer also said that Mike Spano's decision at that time to run for a third term would change everyone's decisions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not everyone, actually. Only those who were considering running in the first place, right? They knew Mike Spano was going to run. That's it. It's over. As I read the names again of the people back then in 2018, Tom Meyer said were part of the Democratic Party that were good candidates potentially. I started to think about the only person that has not come up recently. That was Dennis Robertson. So again, the same names are coming up. All the others are part of a group of people I like to call the recyclables. They are the same individuals time and time again, making a great career out of public service. Let me read something to you, and I thought this was interesting, that Gordon Burroughs said. He said this in an article in the Yonkers Times, Dan Murphy. He said this: the message of term limits is come and serve, contribute your talent and energy for the well-being of the Westchester community. Then move on with our thanks. Right? He also said we need to encourage more citizens to take a turn at elective office so that the public will benefit from greater diversity of opinions and perspectives. And I agree 100%. Right? So let me make it clear. Let me make no mistake. Make no mistake, okay? I'm not against extending term limits because of Mike Spano, of Mayor Mike Spano. It has nothing to do with Mayor Mike Spano. My reason for it is because there's a reason for it, right? What are term limits? They were there for a reason. For a reason is to limit individuals from being in one position for way too long, right? The concept of term limits is quite simple, so that no one person remains in power for too long. And again, generally speaking, that can have negative consequences that can impact a city for decades to come. Right? If we just have the same individuals making the same decisions, same mindset, same way of thinking, right? Same everything. And I'll give you an example of why that's bad. The segregation of housing in schools that began in Yonkers in the 40s, that still impacts us or groups of people here in Yonkers to this day. So decisions made back in the 40s, right, by racist people, right? And they constantly made those decisions because they were racist people right up through the 60s and 70s and even into the 80s, because it was only 1988 that they, desegregated the schools and housing here in Yonkers. So you had these individuals who were racist right up into the 80s making decisions here in the city of Yonkers that has impacted us still to this day. So we need to have diversity in opinions, as Gordon Burroughs says, and perspectives. Right. And so what's crazy also, right, and this is why we have to change people. We can't have term limits constantly extended, because what's crazy is that individuals that were connected to the segregation, that supported the segregation back in the 80s are still, connected, and there's still individuals that are connected to individuals who were the racists back then within our government now. Yeah. And I spoke about it on a podcast. So is that cool that we have individuals who are connected, blood related, to individuals who fought hard to keep Yonkers schools segregated, housing segregated, costing the city millions of dollars in fines because they didn't want to, give in? So like what Gordon Burroughs said, allowing others the opportunity via term limits, provides greater diversity and perspectives. That is how we over time filter out the 1988 segregationists that cost the city back then millions of dollars who are still present in our government today. So some filtering is still needed, right? So why do I believe the mayor's going for a fourth term? Well, I want to play a video really quick from people before politics after the mayor then decided to run for a third term, right? I guess he changed his mind. Sabatino and Mike Breen, who introduced the legislation to do a third term, right, did what they did, and then I guess he changed his mind. He decided, okay, well, why not? They changed it. Let me go ahead and run, right? And so look at what Mike Sabatino got and Breen. Look at where they at now. It's still rolling in the dough here in the city of Yonkers. Michael Sabatino, the $120,000 man over our constituent services, and his husband is an $89,000 or $86,000 guy doing some equal opportunity training, administrating crap. That is a bunch of just nonsense, right? But hey, when you do things like this, that's what you get. You get the payback. So anyway, I want to play this video from that people before politics here, and then Lorraine Lopez is on this episode. Interesting.
Gave me
about that. We didn't
I-
give it to
I,
them. They
um,
took it off of the
I mean, well,
Facebook.
it's on YouTube, so yeah.
I said it, right? You can't escape it. And you know, when the city council presented
Listen.
this opportunity to me, it gave me you know, kind of gave me a rethink. And I said, you know, there's so much happening. There's so many good things happening in the city in terms of economic development.
Listen.
In terms of getting our schools rebuilt and moving our agenda forward. And then, of course, you know, we have MGM Grand and them coming to Yonkers and doing full gaming. And there's a community benefits package that has to be negotiated, not just with MGM, but with New York.
Right.
And of course, with having Lionscape coming and the community benefits package just be negotiated there, it just seemed like, you know what, like I wanted to stay on to finish the job, and so that was why
I did inform everybody, because as soon as it was announced, Akeem got in touch with me and he gave me a statement from you and told me that when you said it on the show, that was decided to run by
Costa Bostic was one of them. There were a number of them by
I want you to hear this, because again, if he runs, he's going to get support from the same individuals.
Costa Bostic was one of them. There were a number of them by you know, listen, I love this job. There's no doubt about that. But this is an all-consuming, unnatural lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, being mayor. And so, and I wasn't sure that, you know, you go through 2 terms.
So, yeah, so he said that, you know, he reconsidered it after the council, the rubber stampers, went ahead and changed the legislation. But why would they change it? They just say, you know what? Let's just change the legislation. Who benefited from that? Mike Breen. So it was in his best interest to introduce it also. He's serving his 3rd term now. Corazon Pineda also, I believe, is serving her 3rd term. Right? So, yeah, so you see there, you know, I knew that based on what he said there are things that needed to be done. MGM Grand is coming in. They're doing full gaming. You know, schools are being built. The Lionsgate, you know, was coming in. He said at the time it came, but it's still not completed. They're doing an expansion now, going all through Woolworth and all that, along Ravine and stuff like that. So it's not done yet. If he said that back in, you know, I believe it was 2018, the reason why he decided to run again is because he wanted to see this stuff through, some of it which has yet to be completed. Do you not think that that will be the same reason and justification for a 4th term? And again, we have rubber stampers, city council, all right? So I believe this is why I know it for a fact. I think he's definitely going to do it. I mean, there's all the signs that are there. All the signs are there, right? So anyway, that's what I got. Anyway, so I just want to really quick just highlight the Michael Sabatino thing, because I've said this before: perks, benefits, right? And people do certain things. Michael Sabatino's husband, Robert Voorhees, challenged Tasha Diaz's signatures when she first ran, and Michael Sabatino introduced this legislation to extend the terms. And these individuals are still in our government today, making lots of money. All right. So if you do favors, you get a favor. So think about how our government is set up currently and the individuals that are within, our government. So again, of course, we should also expect council members like Corazon Pineda Isaac of District 2 to vote in favor of a term extension, because that means she would be able to run again. And so will Mike Breen, even though he's running for assemblyman. But a lot of people say he's not going to win. So it's in his best interest to have another opportunity to run again for his seat, right? And I don't think that a certain gentleman who's looking for that position over there in the 5th district is going to be happy about that. There's no doubt about it. The council, even Moranti, who said he would not, but is not going to vote, but is going to vote no matter what, because he knows that his no vote wouldn't matter anyway. So it's best to vote for yes, so he doesn't build enemies, However, I believe this year they're going to be stronger opposition. In the video I just played, the mayor talks about having little opposition. He says, people seem to have wanted. Nobody was opposing him, right? No elected official is going to be dumb enough, or anyone in politics to be dumb enough to run up against the mayor, right? And the people, there was some opposition from certain individuals, but for the most part, people just kind of be like, I don't know, yeah, Mike Spano, okay, let's vote for him. They don't really understand the implications, what it really means. And it's not about Mike Spano. Again, it's about, changing the laws, changing laws whenever we feel like, hey, we just want to go longer, so let's just change the laws, and that's why term limits were there. There's a reason for it. But there is going to be opposition this year. I have no doubt about it. People have been talking about it, right? He said last year, there was no real competition. And as I was reading the article, if the council, which they did in 2008, introduced legislation this year again, right? One way that the people can challenge it is to get a petition going. And if you get a certain amount of signatures, the council has to revisit that. And they have to, reconsider that decision. And I believe that that's what's going to happen. Right. However, no stinking petition is going to keep Mayor Spano from going for a 4th term, because he is, after all, unstoppable. That leads me to my next reason why I believe he's going to run again. Based on the mayor's recent announcement, the state of the city address, and his determination to paint Yonkers as the safest big city, tells me he feels he has some unfinished business. Right. There's also still lots of developments that are still going up, such as the Ludlow project, and the mayor wants to see them through. The mayor will also receive support from the usual suspects. What I mean is the same as some of our community leaders, right? Those are the usual suspects. They mentioned some in that video. And that's why I mentioned them in my podcast, because these guys are no good. These community leaders will do whatever as long as they get what they want. They're not looking out for the community. They're not making decisions or putting their support on things that benefit the community, even if it means going up against the machine, the administration, or certain individuals within our government, right? Because they want that funding. They want those grants. They want to stand right next to the mayor and say, look at me, I'm so-and-so, right? So they're going to support. They're going to, get behind them. They're going to encourage the people who respect them in the community to get behind them, regardless of that. And I'm not talking about the mayor. I'm talking about in general, elected officials, the politicians, the candidates in general. Get behind this person. Yeah, vote for them so they can benefit, so they can continue living a good life, right? Because you see Lorraine Lopez there sitting next to the mayor. Really, mayor? That's who you want to sit next to? I'm just saying. Anyway, once the mayor made the decision to run for a 3rd term, he went on People Before Politics, which I showed you there, and he said that there was no organized opposition. However, I suspect that won't be the case this time. I believe there will be much opposition, but mainly from voters. Breen, who introduced the legislation to extend the term limits back in 2008, I suspect has already made a deal to do so again, or at least vote yes. Just my opinion. Again, my issues with our city council are just that. They are not reliable to be the checks and balance. And I know that they will present zero resistance. And that is why I continue to make it a point to say we need to get rid of some of these council members. They need to be the checks and balances. They can't just say, hey, okay, yeah, let's introduce a 4th term. Let's introduce legislation for a 4th term. Because if they do, we should already know why they're doing that. But again, there are going to be petitions that are going to go out from what I'm hearing. There are going to be memorandums also from what I'm hearing. There's going to be a lot of opposition this time. And a lot of people feel more emboldened, more empowered. They're starting to speak out. They're letting their voices become louder and not afraid to say, it's me speaking out, and I don't want this, and I'm against this. And we see what you guys are doing. Why did they get rid of Mike Cater? Would Mike Cater have voted for a fourth term? I don't think so. I don't think so. So you have to watch what's going on and see what the moves that are being made, not what people are saying. And again, it's not against Mayor Mike Spano. I'm not against the mayor. It's not about him at all. It's just about the law and the way it was designed. There's term limits for a reason. And I don't think that we should be just changing laws. And it seems to be, that's the trend lately, right? In politics, just change the law, just change the law. You know, executive orders after executive orders. And we have to challenge that. And our city council members who we elect to challenge that do nothing. They support it wholeheartedly. I mean, everything is 7-0, 6-0, 7-0, 6-0, whatever, you know, they're voting on. There's no resistance. There's never a question. It's always like, oh, yeah, I know him. He's a great guy. Oh, I know her. He's a great guy. Yeah, we go back. Yeah, that's what I got to say. Yeah. Are we asking questions? Is this the questions part? Oh, wait a minute. I was in my phone. Because you see them all on their phone during the meetings, all of them on their phone. That's why they never know what's going on. That's why some of you are just lost in the sauce. You don't know what's going on because you're in your cell phones talking to God knows who. That's your job. You don't do it for many hours. So the few hours you are there, why don't you be fully committed and not on your phone? If you have a city council meeting, whoever is on the other end should know that and should be waiting. That's very rude, I think. And it shows a lack of, concern for what's actually happening, especially when it's your turn to ask questions and you don't even know that it's time to ask questions, right? So I honestly, in my strongest opinion, it's time for these council people to go. I'm just saying, it's time for these council people to go. You know, there shouldn't be no fourth term. I don't think so. I don't think there should be a fourth term. I think that we need to look for new individuals. I think new individuals need to come out, step up, and enter these races. Like Gordon Burrow says, we need new people, fresh ideas, new perspectives, right? And it seems like it's just the same individuals. They didn't even name Wilson Kimball, Tom Meyer, Chuck Lesnick, Michael Sabatino. Who else? Obviously, the mayor again for a fourth term. It's just the same old individuals. They cannot make his lifelong career out of politics. That is not what it's for. So again, folks, remember, we have to vote. It's time to vote some individuals out. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm going to be there constantly. That's right. Not going anywhere. Folks, we're too smart for this. We are way too smart for this. Way too smart for this, right? We need some new elected officials. Anyway, anybody got comments, questions, concerns? Otherwise, I'm out of here. What do you think? If there is a fourth term, would you vote for the mayor? Are you going to vote for Mike Spano again? If not, who would you like to see as the next mayor of Yonkers? Would you like to see a Latino? Would you like to see an African-American potentially, possibly? However, let's not vote for someone based on their color, their gender, ethnicity, or anything like that. Strictly on their merit, what they've done, who they are, what they're capable of doing. And most important, do they truly care about the people, and will they fight for the people and not for their own pockets? I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Based in Politics. Thank you for joining me. I just want to talk about that a little bit. I hear also we're getting a raise, 3% almost tax raise. Some people upset because we are getting billions. Well, Kathy Hochul announced that the state will be dispersing $30 billion throughout the state to school districts. I don't know how much Yonkers is getting, but Yonkers got a lot of dough. It's all about money management. This is another reason why we need to change it up, especially in the council. You have to make sure that you vote for council members who are going to be at the budget meetings. I don't know. I'm ready for change. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm out of here. Let's vote for change. It's just ridiculous. Let's vote for change. Let's vote for change. I'm out of here.
Fatality.
Thank you for joining me. I'll be back on tomorrow. Let's talk about the city council meeting.
Ready.
Who do you want to be the next mayor of Yonkers? I am Freddie Vasquez. I need to know. Tell me, who do you want to see? Are you going to vote for the mayor again? If that is the case, that's the possibility if he runs for a fourth term. Or are you going to vote for Corazon Pineda Isaac? What about Lakeisha Collins Bellamy? What about Anthony Moranti, Mr. $200,000 man? He's ready to spend that dough. What about Golden Boy John Rubo, who's very upset about the rally tomorrow? We're going to rally right through you, John. I'll be there. Come talk to me. Yeah. What about Shanae Williams? Think she'll make an excellent mayor whenever she's paying attention? What about Majority Leader Tasha Diaz? Es Corazon the future, as she likes to think she is. She says she's the future. El futuro, how you say it? How you say it in Spanish? Futuro. Who do you like to see as the next mayor of Yonkers, folks? This is a very important decision we're going to have to make here as, I don't know how to say that word, Yonkers-ites, correct me if I'm wrong. So I would love comments. Please comment. Let me know. I want to know, who do you, would you like to see as the mayor? Would you vote for Mayor Spano for a full term? If not, who would you like to see? Comment there. I would love to hear the comments. I would love to kind of get a gauge of what people are thinking. Anyway, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, folks. Thank you for joining me. I will be on tomorrow. Let's talk about the city council meeting. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. Please make it entertaining, guys. I want to laugh again. I want to laugh.
Freddie wins. Fatality. Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No!